You see any of the footage from Takeoff's funeral? Can we just get back to fighting?
Throw hands.
Can we just duke it out? There's something about being punched in the face. It's like a clarity. You just think about life different. Like, okay, what am I doing? What's up? It's nice. We could start like a therapeutical
fight club.
You'll feel way better.
All right, one more time, fight club coming soon.
Coming soon.
We are back for another episode of the One More Time Show.
Woo!
Last week was so fire, we decided to run it back.
We're like, oh, that went okay. Maybe we'll try it again.
Henry, who's this week's episode sponsored by?
Oh, this week's episode actually sponsored by Coke Zero. Step into a Coke Zero. I don't think that's their slogan, but...
Who's our contact over at Coke?
Mark.
Okay, Mark.
Mark's been very good to us.
How could I forget?
Pays on time, sends us, free cases. We love you guys over there at Coke Zero. So, fuck Diet Coke. Oh, I hit the rampage button. That's crazy.
So you're fresh in town off a wedding.
Just got back from Athens, indeed.
How did it go?
It was good. It was good. It was a fun time. Congrats to Paul and Lindsay. Love you guys. I think I fell on the dance floor.
Oh, no.
Is what I'm told.
It's what you're told.
So, yeah, I was in bed by 11. Like, I drank, but it wasn't too bad. But when I woke up, my head was hurting more than just a hangover, And then I was told that this is how it was described to me. Shout out my friend Jordan. He said the physics were way off. Somehow my feet went backwards and my body went forward.
Oh, Lord.
And it was like a faceplant type of situation. So,
ouch.
Yeah, I'm kind of hurting today.
So my first question is, was it a live band or a DJ?
DJ.
What kind of hits was he playing? What were some of the classics?
It was basically like, it's one of those where, the older folks, you start off with the classics, the older hits, and then the older folks kind of go to bed and it gets progressively more ratchet as the night goes on.
Is that when your alleged concussion happened?
Allegedly, that is when it was definitely in the ratchet set.
Wow.
From the DJ.
You should probably see a doctor about this.
We'll see how I feel tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
How do you feel about weddings though? Because I feel like I turned 30 last year and I never really even been to weddings. And as soon as I turned 30, it's like, holy shit, now that I've been to like 5 weddings this year.
So did you buy a tux or have you been renting? I
bought the first tux that I've ever bought.
How'd you look?
About 2 hours before I left for the wedding.
God, talk about procrastination.
I looked clean, man. Did you see my story?
I think I missed it.
Oh, man.
I didn't set up notifications for your stories.
We'll put an overlay of me wearing the tux down here.
Oh, Lord.
Somewhere.
Oh, Lord. So in other news, if you're a 2K player, Jack Harlow and J. Cole are playable characters in the NBA 2K23.
They actually dropped like an alternate cover with J. Cole he's like on the cover of the 2K game. It's pretty tight.
That's fire.
Yeah, I love that. Love that for him.
What do you think it is that NBA is doing with that?
Just tapping into, just combining music and sports. I think a lot of people are fans of music and sports. So, it's something that people are going to talk about as we're doing right now.
Yeah, sure.
So it's working.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Check.
The sales are going up.
Yeah.
Because everyone's obviously watching the One More Time show.
Yeah. No, I think you're right in that. I know when I was like playing video games back in the day, whether it was FIFA or, NBA 2K, whatever it was, like the soundtrack was a big deal.
For sure.
The music is very like intertwined into like the culture of the game.
Absolutely.
And I think that for them to take it a step further and like integrate like culture into the playable characters, like I thought that was pretty genius.
I love it. Yeah. No, that's a great move by them for sure. Because music and sports are always, every rapper wants to be a baller and every baller wants to be a rapper. So
facts.
There you go. Did you see any of the footage from Takeoff's funeral at State Farm? It looked like quite the event, man.
I did. And I think I've talked about this before, but my dad, who's not a fan of hip hop or rap at all, really, he still finds a way to like hit me up when like big things in the culture are happening. So he calls me and I'm like, oh Christ, what is this? He's like, hey man, like, did you go to the memorial? And I had no idea what he was talking about. I thought it was like, did I miss like a family member, like a family friend? He was like, no,
Takeoff,
from the Migos.
That's crazy because my dad knew too. Like my dad asked me about something that had happened and I didn't know that it happened. And he's like, are you living under a rock? Did you even know Takeoff died? And I was like, what? My dad
was throwing shade.
Yeah, he kind of was throwing shade at me, but I was like, yes, I did hear about Takeoff.
Yeah, no, I didn't make it, but rest in peace to Takeoff. I mean, I will say this. I don't know if this is like the Debbie Downer in me, right? But it's also one of those things where I see social media just like blowing up, where people are like speaking on him, and like a lot of the people that came out and said nice words and you know, and that sort of thing. I feel
Drake
like
read a poem.
Yeah, did have a genuine connection to him, probably,
Sure.
right? But man, the amount of just like
Taking advantage of it for clout.
thoughts and prayers,
It's annoying.
where it's like, bro,
Yeah.
your life moved on the second that you posted that.
Yeah.
It kind of gets to me, man.
That's kind of where we're at these days, you know, thoughts and prayers. Like you summed it up right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's as soon as it happens, it's a clout move for sure.
Yeah, like the amount of time it took you to type thoughts and prayers was basically the amount of time that you thought about this thing happening, and your life completely moved on afterwards.
Also because it happens so damn much now too, which is super sad thing in hip hop. We could talk about that for hours, but like
that was a big one though.
There's a toxic culture, man, with like the gun violence, man.
And I thought the craziest part was that like clearly, you know, they were reporting on how it happened at first, and then it comes out, I think, that it was like stray bullets that weren't even like directed towards him and his behavior at all or anything, right? Like it was just completely wrong place, wrong time type of shit, which like really saddens me. You know what I mean? It's like,
shout out to my boy Jarius. He's working on a project talking about gun violence. He summed it up perfectly. Can we just get back to fighting?
throw hands.
Can we just duke it out? We don't have to ruin any lives. When someone dies, that person's family and their friends, their lives are ruined. The person who did it, you're getting arrested. You're going to jail forever. Your life is ruined. Your friends and family, their lives are ruined. You just fucking throw hands, man. What happened to good old fashioned? And most people feel better after fighting. You get that release, and then it's over.
I mean, were you a fighter back in the day though? Like
I got into a couple fights.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah.
I only have like 2 to my name.
2?
Yep.
Probably like in the 7 to 10 range.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
What's your record, would you say?
Well, probably like a 50-50 if I'm being real. It might be like 60-40 in my favor, maybe, if I'm being real.
Of my 2, I'd say 1 was just like with a friend where like just shit got out of control. We started throwing hands. I think it was probably drunken, shenanigans, right? The other one was with a rando that was just like college town shit. We're belligerent. He's talking smack for no reason. I start, just acting like I'm the man and whatever. And I actually like dropped him like significantly in the middle of like the college town. Like it was actually really, it was a proud moment.
I feel bad doing the gunshot sound effect.
I thought we were just throwing hands, Henry. Yeah. No, but I'm not a fighter, as you can tell. 2 fights in my whole 31 years of living, like one with a friend,
for sure,
really doesn't even count.
But I think if it ever if it did ever escalate, I think a good fight. There's something about being punched in the face. It's like a clarity, You talk about like post nut clarity. There's something about there's being punched in the face. Like, okay, you just think about life different. Like, okay, what am I doing? What's up? It's nice. Like, I think more people we could start like a therapeutical company.
Like a therapeutical fight club?
Where we just punch. Yeah, it's like a fight club.
Like an anger management type of
just get punched in the face.
After school activity.
You'll feel way better.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like me not liking confrontation, me being a pacifist, me being
a pussy.
Weak. I was gonna go there. Me being weaker than most. Like I'm not sure what it is that like has kind of made me avoid those types of situations over the years. But yeah, I've had friends that were just like serious fighters, where it was like, bro, you're fighting at every party we go to. And
like at this point, you're looking for a fight.
Yeah, I don't know how it actually ends up that way. You know what I mean? Like I guess it's the pent up aggression though. I think that if there was a like controlled format, like a fight club, for example, I think that would actually work.
Seriously. I swear. There's something to the fight club.
All right, one more time, fight club, coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah. It's our next event. We've done ciphers.
Yeah, I'll ref it, but
now we're getting into fight club.
Yeah.
Did you see the whole like Twitter verification
Twitter blue
craziness that's happening?
Bro.
And it's already like been canceled because it went
as quick as it started.
It's over.
It's over.
$8 a month, you get a blue check. Elon. That was not a good idea.
How many people took advantage? Did they say?
All the trolls jumped on it. And that's why it didn't work, is because people were, you put a profile picture of young boy, and you got a blue check and you start hitting people up.
Wow. People place that much value on the blue check as far as like just believing whatever the fuck is being sold.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like,
damn,
$8 a month is, for that type of influence.
I'm trying to just think of like if a blue checker, if a blue checker hit me up, asking for assumedly like money or whatever these people were getting like duped for, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to think like, would I
Dude,
fall victim.
I've talked to people who have ran like marketing strategies, you know, for people that are verified, like big people. And some of their strategies are just like view random people's stories, like random people's posts. And that's all they do, just because, you know, the average person sees that a blue checker liked their shit or saw their story, and they immediately, now they're looking into that person. You know, maybe they follow them, and then that's just simple acts of that. There's a lot of power in the blue check.
There is, but to take it as far as like that, I understand. To take it as far as like that blue checker hits you up asking for your social security number, and you're just like, take it, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
there's gullible people out here, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's rough. Yeah, I'm not sure that I would fall, you know, victim to that, to be honest. So one thing I you know, saw on the internet recently was this whole concept of like, no idea is a bad idea. And that like when you're a manager specifically, and, you know, I love looking at other managers talk about like how to best manage and like best practices, whatever. They talked about how like reiterating and like reinforcing and just beating to a pulp to like the creatives that you work with, that there's no idea is a bad idea type of like mentality. That's what's going to get like their creative juices flowing. They're not going to be scared to, you know, bring ideas to the table despite how like outlandish they might be. You know, we talked about this off camera, I think, with Wiley from Atlanta, who was in for an interview recently. And shout out Wiley. Yeah, shout out Wiley, bro. Super dope artist. Go check him out. We love
Wiley, man. Check him out.
For sure. But like, you know, me talking about how the manager does have to like draw the line sometimes, right? Or at least I think the manager's job is like a fact giver, right? Just to make sure you can download all the information on your ideas. But it is imperative, right, for us as managers to make sure that like you bring all the ideas to the table, because you never know which one of those is going to be like the $1 million idea type of shit.
But you have to be like, no, we can't actually put you on the moon.
Well, we can, but here's how much it's going to cost you.
I like the idea, and the concept of no idea is a bad idea is a good one. Like the you know, the idea behind it is great, because it's like when I'm making beats, you know, I got to make like several beats before there's one where I'm like, this is the fucking one right here. There are bad ideas though, and there are bad beats, but you don't want to discourage people from presenting bad ideas or bad beats, because eventually you do come up on one that is the one. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
How do you think that message is like best delivered though? Right. So is it, because I'm like a very matter of fact guy, and I feel like that gets me into trouble sometimes when I'm like working with creatives, right? And just giving them the down low as far as like, yo, bro, like, yeah, that music video idea is cool, but like, here's all that actually goes into executing that idea and the cost associated with that. How do you think it's best to actually...
It's a balance.
Deliver that.
Because you can't be overly agreeing that it's a great idea if it's not doable, but you also don't just want to shoot them down, you know, to the point where they're not even excited to share ideas anymore. So that's a tricky one, and I don't envy you for having to deal with that.
I think the interesting part that we talked about with Wiley was that like there's a difference when the manager might also be an investor and funding these
money complicates
ideas.
Everything. Of course. Money always complicates it.
Because like it's easy for me, who has taken a pretty, you know, firm stance recently of like, I'm not your angel investor. I'm not your finance guy. I'm not your money guy.
Yeah.
I'm here to, you know, work with what budget you know, have currently. Obviously, I'm here to try and help you find funding eventually, right? When the deal makes sense. But like, I'm not here to be your label and like finance your career right now, right? I think it makes it a lot easier for me to maybe just give them the down low and like, then they can proceed as they wish, right? You know, the creatives, but
I think I would trust you more knowing that you weren't financially invested. Like, all right, well, he has no reason to like feel one way or the other. He's genuinely trying to help me.
Because it's my money. Is what they, you know, like, you know, what the argument would be like, okay, like, cool. He's telling me that like I can spend however I want, but you know, he would not recommend his money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. So I was listening to an interview with the author. I think his name's like Joe Scaglagimo. I don't know, some fucking Italian shit.
Yeah, that sounds Italian.
And sorry, Joe, I'm butchering your name, but he wrote a book called Rap Capital, like the story of Atlanta or something. I can't remember exactly the title, but essentially he's a New York Times author, and he has had like super access to like QC's whole label, like Marlo, Lil Baby.
What type of access are we talking about?
I'm talking like he would just go spend days with these rappers and like go to the mall with them, hang out with them, meet their parents, whatever, right? Like he's written some pretty like incredible stories and pieces just for the New York Times. But then he embarked on this, journey when COVID hit to basically write this, long form book that documents all of like kind of the, recent history of hip hop in Atlanta specifically. Right. And it was really fascinating. One thing that he mentioned was, that that rap is a young man's sport. And like, that was like a theme he kept hearing like over and over again. And he even said like, who is one of your favorite rappers who's like old stuff, like their stuff when they're older is actually like your favorite stuff.
Yeah. I hear you.
He just was like, bro, it's not there.
I would agree with that. Sadly, it's kind of the mentality of the market. It's like the fans always want the newest, coolest thing. Like they're never satisfied. It blows my mind that Future is like 38 years old.
Yeah.
For example, I still consider him like, in the game, he's a GOAT. Like he's part of what's going on. Everything he drops matters right now. But it's like also he's 38. Like the kids are listening to SoFago. They're not listening to Future like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it makes me feel old sometimes. But that is, I think he's onto something for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out Joe.
Yeah. And then another point he brought up was that like, people aren't listening to new music as much, bro. So like if someone drops a project, like even, we talked about, 21 Savage and Drake's project last week, Her Loss. We're going to be listening to that for maybe a month and then literally not give a fuck about it. It was his argument.
Sure. And it's not a bad one. I think we'll be listening to that one longer than Drake's last two.
He basically said that like the average listener still, if you go look at their fucking like listening history,
yes,
you're going to find catalog shit. Meaning like older music that's been out for a significant period of time that you keep going back to.
Yeah.
Like he just said that like for whatever reason it is that like right now we're listening to new music maybe, but then we're just not sinking in and like
I think it's a combination.
Repeat value.
It's a combination of two things. One, the ever decreasing attention spans of humans.
Yeah.
We are always on to the next thing. It's just like Takeoff thing, we're boom, he had his funeral, everyone's on to the next thing. But also the amount of music that drops is astronomical compared to like 20 years ago. You want to drop an album, you know how much money you have to spend? Timbaland talked about this in his recent interview with Producergrind. They were like, yeah, we heard you used to get like 50, 100K for a beat. And he was like, now like 300, 500K for a beat.
Wow.
Because like you're coming to me, we're curating this, we're doing this from scratch, we're going to make this a hit for you. And now it's so easy to make beats and make music. It's like that's unheard of to pay anyone anywhere near that amount for production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be great. If anyone wants to pay me for that, hit me up. My DMs are open. So
no, for sure. I mean, I think that the point with that he made was similar in that it's tough for us to digest all this shit. Yeah. To know where to even like we're getting fucking like thrown a million things our way where it's like you almost get frustrated where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just listening to the shit I know hits that I was into, several years ago during my high school days, whatever the case may be. And that's like, I think contributing into it as well is that like, it's like music overload where like
overstimulation.
Yeah. Where the easiest thing, and I catch myself doing this with even like TV shows, bro.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking TV shows out there, yet I've still found myself like going back to like my tried and true shows that I don't know. I guess it might be the same thing where it's like, the options are too much.
Where do you see us being in like 20 years when it's really there?
I'm hoping that the technology for curation continues to improve, meaning that like it's gonna know for real. I know it's like it's getting there, but I think it's gonna like really hit
more than we know.
Exactly, where it's gonna be like this is a guaranteed smash for Ben. This is a guaranteed smash for Henry. You know what I mean?
It's terrifying, kind of, isn't it?
I kind of look forward to it, to be honest. Of like, just on a silver platter, getting served music that they know I'm gonna like. I mean,
humans are just gonna be like floating on like a a little flying saucer and never have to move and just food, music, content, movie.
Well,
it's gonna be so sad.
No, it's interesting you say that. I was also listening to, a Joe Rogan interview, and I can't remember even who it was with, but I think it was like Theo Vaughn or something like hilarious. Right?
Love Theo.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Theo's the man.
So they talked about like the concept of aliens, right? And there's a lot of theories that our archetype for an alien really is just going to be a human like cyborg, right? Like the way that we're evolving to like the picture you just painted of like we're just this character that's just like getting technology inserted into us and like whatever. He's like, that's what I think we thought aliens were, but really it's just fucking us like 100 years down the road. And I found that like so interesting.
Yeah.
That I was like, damn, like they're kind of onto something.
They are onto something.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. So on the way back from Athens, so in Athens, I stopped at Raising Cane's. Have you been to Raising Cane's?
Not even.
No?
No,
Nothing about it?
I didn't even know we had them in like our geography.
They're not in Atlanta, but yeah, there's one in Athens. And yeah, it's kind of like a Zaxby's.
No, I know
kinda-
of it
kinda
for
deal.
sure.
Yeah, you know,
I've heard it's fire.
great tenders. They have like 4 items on their menu. I just kind of want to, yeah, well, if you don't know anything about it, then now we're not talking about it. But shout out to their tenders. They're fire.
There is something to be said though for like less options. You know, it's kind of like the music thing. It's like at some point there's too many fucking options.
This is what's good. And like 2 of the 4 options are like different amounts of chicken tenders.
Wow. Of the 4 option, there's a 3-piece and a 5-piece tender. Amazing.
And it's funny because Zaxby's, I think, apparently originated in Athens.
100% headquartered in Athens.
But there's, but they got the Raising Cane's out there.
They also have a Chick-fil-A and many other chicken establishments.
Let's leave it on that note.
Let's leave it on that note. Until
chicken.
next week, Henry, we are getting out of here one more time. Show episode 2. It's a wrap.
Peace.
Peace.
Pop that shit like one more time. And pop that one more time. Pop that shit like one more time.